US, China hail constructive Geneva trade talks. At least 21 killed as bus plunges off cliff in Sri Lanka. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. This is World Today. I'm Mohana Priya. We begin the story today with some local news. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim has extended Wesak Day greetings to Buddhists across the country. Raja Permaisuri Agong Raja Zarith Sofia also conveyed her well wishes in conjunction with the celebration. His Majesty emphasized that strong racial ties are key to Malaysia's unity and national strength. The message also highlighted the importance of mutual respect and understanding in maintaining harmony within a multiracial society. The royal message was shared on the official Facebook page of Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar earlier today. Wesak Day is being observed by Buddhists today to mark three major events in the life of Gautama Buddha: his birth, enlightenment, and passing. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has called on Malaysians to embrace the spirit of Wesak Day for a united and harmonious nation. In a Facebook post, he said Wesak Day is an important reminder, particularly in upholding universal values that encompass compassion, harmony and peace. He added, in Malaysia, the celebration of Wesak invites and stirs the conscience of society to uphold human dignity and embody sincere respect among all people amid diversity. Datuk Seri Anwar urged the people to embrace the spirit of Wesak Day while preserving the nation's inclusive traditions and cultures. Millions of Buddhists around the world will celebrate Wesak Day today, which commemorates the birth, enlightenment and passing of Lord Buddha. Wesak Day is one of the major national celebrations in Thailand, observed by Buddhists by visiting temples to pray and perform acts of charity. At least 19 Palestinians were killed and 81 others were injured in the Gaza Strip over the last 24 hours as a result of the ongoing Israeli genocide in the region. Local health authorities confirmed that the Palestinian death toll has risen to 52,829 fatalities, with an additional 119,554 individuals sustaining injuries. According to the same sources, the death toll since Israel's resumption of the genocide on March 18th after a 2-month truce has also climbed to 2,720. Emergency services are still unable to reach many casualties and dead bodies trapped under the rubble in the war-torn enclave. Israeli occupation forces continue to target ambulance and civil defense crews. Israel's genocidal onslaught continues undeterred despite calls from the United Nations Security Council for an immediate ceasefire. A senior Hamas official said on Sunday that Hamas will release the Israeli-American hostage Eden Alexander held in Gaza as part of efforts to reach a ceasefire agreement and allow humanitarian aid to enter the besieged enclave. The revelation was made as the group was engaged in direct negotiations with the United States to reach a ceasefire in Gaza. In a statement, the exiled Gaza Hamas chief Khalil al-Hayya said efforts to facilitate the release have been jointly carried out by Qatar, Egypt and Turkey. Hayya added that the movement affirms its readiness to immediately start intensive negotiations and make serious efforts to reach a final agreement to end the war, exchange prisoners in an agreed-upon manner. U.S. Special Envoy Adam Brohler described the reported plan by Hamas to release the last surviving American hostage in Gaza is a positive step forward. He said President Donald Trump's Middle East swing this week helped spur the move. German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul met with Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa on Sunday in Ramallah in the West Bank. During his first trip to the region since taking office last week, Wadephul said there should be no expulsion of the 2 million Palestinians there and no permanent occupation of Gaza. He emphasized it was clear that Gaza is part of the Palestinian territory.
Thank you so much. That was really a performance.
Seit März wird wieder intensiver gekämpft. Und der Waffenstillstand, für den wir eintreten, ist derzeit nicht intakt. Und deswegen erlaube ich mir diese ehrlichen und sorgevollen Worte. Ich bin nicht sicher, ob so alle strategischen Ziele Israels erreicht werden können, ob dies langfristig der Sicherheit Israels dient. Deswegen appellieren wir für einen Wiedereinstieg in ernsthafte Verhandlungen über einen Waffenstillstand. Einen Waffenstillstand, der auch den Weg für die dauerhafte Versorgung der Menschen in Gaza ebnet.
He stressed that the conflict in Gaza cannot be solved with military means and a political situation must be found to end the war permanently. Waterfall reiterated that the return of hostages is the German government's priority. The United States and China say progress was made over the weekend after high-level talks in Geneva. It is aimed at easing growing trade tensions triggered by President Donald Trump's aggressive trade policies. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer said that the U.S. and China's differences were not as big as expected after 2 days of closed-door talks with Vice Premier He Li-feng.
This was, as the Secretary pointed out, a very constructive 2 days. It's important to understand how quickly we were able to come to agreement, which reflects that perhaps the differences were not so large as maybe thought. That being said, there was a lot of groundwork that went into these 2 days.
It is expected China and the U.S. will issue a joint statement reached during the talks on Monday. The escalating trade dispute between Washington and Beijing has shaken global financial markets. The dispute has also raised concerns over a possible global economic slowdown. Trump had posted on his social platform that the discussions had been very good, describing them as a total reset negotiated in a friendly but constructive manner. Meanwhile, Chinese Vice Premier He Li-feng said on Sunday that trade talks with the United States in Switzerland had been candid, in-depth and constructive. He added substantive progress had been made during the high-level economic and trade talks between China and the United States in Geneva, and most important consensus has been reached between the two sides. Speaking at a press conference following the conclusion of the talks, he said both sides have reached an agreement on establishing a China-US economic and trade consultation mechanism and will conduct further consultations on issues of mutual concern.
双方一致同意建立中美经贸磋商机制，明确双方牵头人就各自关切的经贸问题开展进一步的磋商。 中美双方将尽快敲定有关的细节，并且将于5月12日发布会谈达成的联合声明。
The meeting was the first face-to-face interaction between senior U.S. and Chinese economic officials since Trump took office and launched a global tariff blitz that started with declaring a national emergency over the U.S. entangled crisis, imposing a new 20% tariff on Chinese goods in February. India's military says it sent a hotline message to Pakistan on Sunday warning of retaliation if ceasefire violations continue. A senior Indian Army officer claims that the agreement was breached shortly after it was announced and that New Delhi is ready to respond. However, Pakistan's military denies any violation. Its spokesperson insisted that Pakistani forces have respected the truce. The ceasefire, announced on Saturday, ended 4 days of the most intense cross-border fighting in nearly 30 years. Nearly 70 people were killed as missiles and drones hit military targets on both sides. For now, the truce appears to be holding, but the situation remains volatile between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. Diplomacy and U.S. pressure helped secure the deal at a moment when conflict appeared to be spiraling out of control. But just hours after it took effect, artillery fire was reported in Indian Kashmir, the epicenter of last week's violence. Protests across France against Islamophobia after mosque stabbing. Now, the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights, AICHR, will convene its 41st meeting at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta starting today until the 16th of May. The meeting will be chaired by Dato Edmund Bontai Sun, Malaysia's representative to AICHR and the Commission's chair for 2025. According to Wisma Putra, Malaysia's leadership of this meeting underscores its commitment to advancing human rights promotion and protection through regional dialogue. The meeting will bring together 10 AICHR representatives, Timor-Leste's representative as observer, and officials from the ASEAN Secretariat. The meeting will discuss recent human rights developments in ASEAN and the proposed ASEAN declarations on the rights to development, peace, and a safe, clean, healthy, and sustainable environment. It said the meeting will also deliberate on the AICHR 5-year work plan for 2026 to 2030 and its priority programs for the next year. Ahead of the 15th ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting, AMM, in July, AICHR will also finalize its 2025 annual report to brief the AMM on its progress, challenges, and future direction. At least 21 people died and over 35 have been injured after a passenger bus plunged off a cliff in Sri Lanka's central province on Sunday. According to local police, more than 35 passengers sustained injuries and were treated at regional hospitals. Police stated that the bus carrying 75 passengers was travelling from the southern pilgrimage site of Kataragama to the northwestern town of Kurunegala when it plunged 100 metres off a cliff. Authorities have launched an investigation into the cause of the accident. Road accidents are frequent in Sri Lanka, with official data showing buses are often involved in such incidents. According to police records, nearly 600 Sri Lankans have died in 565 fatal road accidents this year. Protests were held in various cities, including capital Paris, as well as Marseille and Lyon in France on Sunday, in response to the growing Islamophobia in the country. The protests were sparked by the fatal stabbing of Abu Bakr Sis at Hatis Mosque in the town of Le Grand Combe, Gard region, on 25th of April. In Paris, protesters gathered at Bastille Square at 2 p.m. local time, marching towards Nation Square. Demonstrators criticized French Interior Minister Bruno Retatou's policies targeting migrants and Muslims. The protesters were holding signs reading "Islamophobia kills. The state and media contribute to it. Let's resist." And Retatou, Abu Bakr's blood is on your hands. They also chanted slogans such as "Stop Islamophobia," "Paris against fascism," and "No to Islamophobia." Protesters called for justice for Sis. Many attendees carried Palestinian flags and wore keffiyehs, expressing solidarity with the Palestinians. On 25th April, Abu Bakr Sis was stabbed dozens of times to death by the attacker, identified as Oliver Hitch, and the assault was filmed on a phone while shouting insults against Islam. U.S. President Donald Trump has unveiled a new plan to cut prescription drug prices in America by up to 80%. In a social media post, Trump said the move would level the playing field globally. Drug prices are expected to rise in other countries to offset lower costs for Americans. The plan references the most favored nation status under WTO rules meant to ensure fair competition in global trade. The White House has not released further details. It is not Trump's first attempt to tackle rising drug costs. During his first term, similar proposals failed due to strong pushback from the pharmaceutical industry. Just last month, he signed another executive order to give states more flexibility in purchasing cheaper medicines from abroad and to improve price negotiations. Iran's president on Sunday announced his country had no interest in developing nuclear weapons as fresh talks to resolve the decades-long nuclear dispute between the US and Iran entered in Oman. Speaking during a cabinet meeting, Masoud Pezeshkian told ministers that Iran was ready to provide with all its might, that it is not seeking nuclear weapons, but was not willing to concede on developing nuclear technology for healthcare and agriculture, amongst other industries.
ما در بهداشت درمان نیاز به این تکنولوژی داریم، بر کشاورزی نیاز داریم، در محیط زیست نیاز داریم، در صنعت نیاز داریم. ما قرار نیست که مثلا این دستاورد رو به همین سادگی بخوایم مثلا به اونا بدیم. یه دم خیال میکنن ما در ضعفیم. حالا تو این رسانه ها و اینا یه حرفایی میزنن. به نظر من الان ما از نظر وفاق، همدلی، همراهی در کشور در کمال به اصطلاح وحدت و انسجام و قدرتیم.
Earlier on Sunday, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and US President Donald Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff held the fourth round of nuclear talks in Muscat through Omani mediators, despite Washington taking a tough stance in public that Iranian officials said would not help the negotiations. Officials said further negotiations are planned. China sent a remote sensing satellite group into space from the Taiwan's Satellite Launch Center in North China's Shaanxi province on Sunday. According to the launch center, the satellites were launched at 9:27 p.m. local time aboard a modified version of the Long March 6 rocket. The Yaogan 4002 satellite group has entered planned orbit successfully. The satellites have entered the planned orbits and will be used for electromagnetic environment detection and related technological tests. Also on board the rocket was a satellite belonging to the Tianqi constellation. The satellite Tianqi 6 will be used for data transmission. The Tianqi constellation, developed by a Beijing-based high-tech company, is for short message communications. Sunday's launch marks the 574th mission undertaken by the Long March rocket series. Massive wildfires breaking out since Wednesday in Syria have scorched more than 30 hectares of land in the countryside of the coastal province of Latakia. The Syrian Civil Defense said no injuries nor damage to homes have been reported so far. The cause of the wildfires has not been identified yet. Strong winds, high temperatures, remnants of war and difficult access remain key challenges for firefighting teams. Meanwhile, head of administrative and technical units in Latakia, Ali Asi, explained that intense heat and difficulties in gaining access to firefighting equipment are hindering efforts to fully contain the wildfires. The team had contacted neighboring municipalities from Aleppo, Tartus and Hama to send reinforcements. Newly elected Pope Leo XIV is urging the Catholic Church to respond to the growing impact of artificial intelligence. In his first formal address to the College of Cardinals, the new pontiff compared today's AI boom to the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century.
E oggi la Chiesa offre a tutti il suo patrimonio di dottrina sociale per rispondere a un'altra rivoluzione industriale e agli sviluppi dell'intelligenza artificiale che comportano nuove sfide per la difesa della dignità umana, della giustizia e del lavoro.
He invoked Pope Leo XIII's landmark 1891 teaching on workers' rights, saying the Church must again step up to defend human dignity and social justice in a new age. Pope Leo XIV was elected Thursday and is now the first American-born Pope in Catholic history. His remarks suggest AI will be a defining issue of his papacy. West Ham end winless run with commanding 2-0 victory over Manchester United. We begin our sports segment with some local news. Para-shuttler Chia Lek Ho continued his dominance with a double in the SU5 event, while the wheelchair-bound Ikhwan Ramli made it a Malaysian triple cheer at the Dubai Para International today. Two-time Paralympic champion Lek Ho overcame compatriot Fariz Anwar 21-12, 22-20 in the final, which lasted 35 minutes. Less than 4 hours later, top-ranked Lek Ho Fariz captured the doubles crown, beating India's world number 2 Hardik Makar Ruchik Raghubadi. Ikhwan later justified his world number 1 status in the wheelchair category by beating South Korean Choi Jung-man 13-21, 21-18, 21-6 in 52 minutes. Lek Ho, 37, revealed that he has been carrying a serious right heel injury for more than a year, but continued playing amid treatment. Lek Ho also won the singles and the doubles with Fariz at the Spanish Para International in Toledo in March. The para badminton legend now holds 14 World Championship titles in both singles and doubles events, in addition to amassing over 70 international titles throughout his career. And moving on to the English Premier League, Manchester United's struggles continue as they remain without a win in their last 5 matches following a 2-0 defeat to West Ham. Despite playing at Old Trafford, the home side, managed by Europa League finalist Ruben Amorim, failed to capitalise on their home advantage. The Hammers broke the deadlock in the 26th minute through Thomas Souček before Jared Bowen doubled the lead in the 57th minute. The victory marks West Ham's first win in 5 league outings under the guidance of Graham Potter. With the result, West Ham climbs to 15th in the standings, while Manchester United slipped to 16th, separated by just a single point with 2 matches remaining. This was a disappointing afternoon for the Manchester, compounded by Eleni Yoro's withdrawal due to an apparent injury. Their 9 home defeats are a joint club record, and while victory in the Europa League final over fellow strugglers Tottenham Hotspur would land United in the Champions League. Elsewhere, Barcelona moved a step closer to clinching their 28th La Liga title after edging fierce rivals Real Madrid 4-3 in a dramatic El Clasico clash early this morning. The victory at Barcelona's Olympic Stadium extends their lead at the top of the table to 7 points over Real, with just 3 matches remaining in the season. One more win will be enough to seal the league crown for Hansi Flick's side. Real Madrid made a strong start, with Kylian Mbappe netting twice in the 5th and 14th minutes. However, Barcelona responded with high tempo and intensity, scoring 3 goals in just 15 minutes through Eric Garcia, Lamine Yamal and Rafinha. Rafinha added another just before half-time to make it 4-2, further asserting Barca's dominance. Although Mbappe completed his hat-trick in the 70th minute to reduce the deficit, it wasn't enough to stop the hosts from securing all 3 points. Barcelona manager Hansi Flick urged his players to remain focused and avoid any premature celebration as they moved to the brink of the La Liga title with a thrilling 4-3 victory over Real Madrid on Sunday.
I always say I think positive about that. After the match on Tuesday in Milan, 120 minutes, and 2-0 or behind in this match. I think it was not easy, but the mentality of my team is unbelievable. It's really great to see this, that they have the power to come back, and it's really fantastic. So it's football, you know. Don't know what happens, but we're in a good position, and we need 3 more points. So and this is what we want to make as soon as possible. But I know every match will be tough. Every match, every opponent wants to win against us, but we have the quality when we play like today. So I think we can reach that.
Barcelona, now 7 points clear at the top, could secure the La Liga title as early as Wednesday if Real Madrid failed to win at Mallorca. Karim Benzema bagged a brace on Sunday as Saudi Pro League leaders Al Ittihad moved closer to a second title in 3 years with a 3-0 win at home to Al SAHIH in Jeddah. The former Ballon d'Or winner opened the scoring in the 24th minute, beating Al SAHIH's Panamanian goalkeeper Orlando Mosquera at his near post. Benzema then put the finishing touch on a quick 1-2 with Saudi winger Abdurrahman Al Aboud 10 minutes after the restart to bring his tally for the league campaign to 21 goals. An own goal in the 76th minute from Mohamed Karim Al Bakawi sliding in to block a cross made it a 3-goal deficit for the Al Majaa outfit. The win sees Laurent Blanc's side improved to 74 points with 5 matches to play. Their nearest challengers Al Hilal, who face Al Orbah on Monday, lie 9 points adrift. Al SAHIH meanwhile sit 14th in the table, just 3 points clear of the relegation zone. Spain's Carlos Alcaraz methodically took care of Laszlo Djere of Serbia, winning 7-6, 6-2 in 1 hour 43 minutes to advance to the 4th round of the Italian Open on Sunday. The number 3 seed's victory sets up a matchup with 23 seed Karen Khachanov of Russia, who also advanced Sunday with an easy 6-3, 6-love victory over Francesco Passaro of Italy. Alcaraz was coming back from an adductor injury and battling a cold. Earlier, Corentin Moutet of France eked out an upset victory over number 9 seed Holger Rune of Denmark. Moutet had 3 match points before losing his serve to even the match 5-5 in the third set. Down 3-1 in the deciding tiebreaker, he took 6 of the next 7 points to win the match 7-5, 5-7, 7-6. And that wraps up World Today. In our top story, US-China hailed constructive Geneva trade talks. Tune in to Malaysia Tonight, coming up at 8:30 p.m. on TV1 and saluran Berita RTM. Alternatively, you can stream us live on RTM Click's website and mobile app. We close our bulletin today with a visual of Wesak Day celebrations. I'm Mohana Priya. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you for your company.